everyone, my name is Lexi. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I know I've been gone for a little while, but I'm back and I'm ready to chat. Welcome back. So, in today's video, I particularly want to focus on, as women, our ego, and how if we do not check our ego, or if we're not mindful of our ego, how certain aspects of it, in terms of us being self-righteous, in terms of us being too vain, or in terms of us feeling entitled, how those three aspects could really cause us to lose our spot and we will end up looking obtuse and stupid. So I want to particularly focus on Ayesha Howard and just vanity. And when you are too vain, you just completely miss the plot. I'm going to talk about Melyssa Ford and her whole situation going on with Drake, and how basically he used her and gave her a backhanded compliment, and she just thought that that was the best thing to happen to her since sliced bread. And then lastly, I want to talk about Amara La Negra. Amara La Negra, that situation happened a little while ago, but her crying over that woman's husband, that sense of entitlement, baby, I have a lot to say about that. I will break up each story and put them in timestamps in my description, or pin them to the comments so you could just skip along to whatever story you want to talk about. Without further ado, go grab your snack, grab your coffee, grab whatever's gonna make you comfortable as you were listening to me, because baby, I have a lot to say. So let's get right on into the video. Yes. First and foremost, let's get into Ayesha Howard. Ayesha Howard is 38 years old. She is the mother of Lil Baby's eldest child, and she just had a baby with Anthony Edwards, who is 23 years old. She came on the internet the other day and she was trying to gaslight us and just say that she is not a gold digger, she's not this and she's not that.
I came into this situation with the status because I have a child by a very successful artist. And now that I am in yet another situation where I now have a child with another successful man, there's no telling you guys that I'm not a gold digger.
God, Karen, you are so stupid.
Ma'am, you are 38 years old and this man is 23 years old, meaning that you guys were 1 year younger when you guys actually made this child. One, I think that that's actually very predatorial. I think that that is some pedo behavior or whatever, and you don't get a pass just because you're a woman on that kind of situation. That's first and foremost. Second of all, Anthony Edwards he's in the NBA. I think he plays for the Timberwolves or whatever. He is locked into a 5-year, multi-million-dollar contract and whatnot. If this was a basic, generic, average 23-year-old man, do you think that this woman would have had a child with that man? No, she would not have. Furthermore, Anthony Edwards is also in a relationship. That's one. And number two, he also has several other kids that are roaming around the world that he is not actively a part of, or he is not taking care of or whatever. So if you know this, because I'm just like, before her situation, I remember coming across or hearing his situations with these other women like some time back or whatever. If we knew about that, that means that you probably knew about that, you heard about that, that wasn't brand new news or information to you, and yet still you decided to go and have a baby with this man. To do that and then to come online and act like we're not going to think anything of you other than your fact that you are a gold digger, I think is stupid. And then for her to sit down here and drag everybody else talking about oh well, what if I went down into your mentions and said that you were digging for poverty?
What if I came to y'all's pages, right? And I compared the men that you have children with to the men that I have children with. And I said, you were digging for poverty when you picked him to be your baby daddy, weren't you? Oh, you kept that baby for an extra income tax credit, didn't you? Or you kept that baby for a couple extra $100 in food stamps, didn't you? Or you kept that baby for an extra Section 8 voucher. Is that why you kept your baby?
God, Karen, you are so stupid.
She really thought that she ate at the end, trying to drag everybody. People are just looking at the facts. Based off the facts, you look like a predator. You look like somebody who is over here just trying to secure proximity to wealth, and you had a baby for a bag. You try to flip it around and talk about rights and our right to choose, etc., etc.
Do you want a man to tell you what to do with your body or not? Do you want the right or not?
text messages leaked, and he told her, I do not want to have a child. And she said, and he gave, I believe he gave her money for the for her to, you know, handle the situation or whatever. And she did not do that. She went forward and she had a kid. I don't know about y'all, but first and foremost, I'm not having a child with nobody who don't love me and whatever. There's a content creator, if you don't know her, Six the Goddess or whatever, she made a whole video about the idea that men take care of the child based on how they feel about the mother. And I know that was a harsh truth for a lot of people to hear or whatever, but I do tend to agree with that, which is why I think that it is so important for women to guard their womb. Don't just give your womb to somebody who you just like, or give your womb just for an opportunity, or just give your womb just because. Like, your womb, safeguard your womb as long as you can and make sure that it is right. But if that man doesn't care about you, if you were just a slide, if you were just a one night stand, a quick hookup, or just a plaything for him or whatever, he does not care about you. So therefore, if you go on ahead and have a kid for him and whatnot, I don't think that that road really produces, you know, you have some men who might be gems and they might be like, you know, I'm a man and I'm gonna take care of my responsibilities, but I think overwhelmingly another set of them will also be like, I don't want anything to do with you, and I don't want to do anything to do with that kid. Like, I told you what to do, I told you I wasn't ready for this, yada yada yada. And I'm not saying that he's right, because if you know you don't want a kid, you, first of all, you shouldn't be cheating on your girlfriend and whatnot, because this girlfriend has been with him and he's been over here sliding and slipping and sliding and a whole bunch of other people or whatever, and she's still there. But that child that he has with her, that is the only child that he actually takes care of, because that is the one who he has the most connection with and whatnot. All these other ones, he does not care about them, so he's just doing whatever it is that he wants to do. And so now for her to come over here and just, you know, try to make it seem as if, oh, like, you know, I chose this for me and I wanted to be a mother and I wanted to do this and da da da, like, no, you did not. You wanted to have a kid for somebody who is going to give you proximity to wealth, and that is that. But the vanity of it all is because she's over here talking about how her body and her face and all these girls be so jealous of her, and she's so this and she's so that.
I'm viewed as a certain type of woman because I'm beautiful and have a nice body. And normally women like that attract a certain caliber of men, which is also not my fault.
At the end of the day, your beautiful face, your beautiful body, your beautiful gowns, like everything that is beautiful physically about you, that did not land you with security. That did not land you with a two-parent household. That did not land you with a marriage. That did not land you with a man who is actually doting on you, loving you, or actually being there to step up and raise and be physically present with you to raise these children.
What you cheering? I'm a single mother with nobody that loves me or my child. What you cheering for?
All that did was attract a man of low value and a man who didn't think anything of you other than to pay you off to get rid of a kid. I would never want to be in that situation.
That's a lot of nerve, considering the alternative is somebody that don't want nothing to do with you or your child.
I'm sorry.
So at the end of the day, like, you still lose. You still lose. Like, you still lose and you still lost the plot. And yeah, like, you'll have a kid and you'll be able to get a little bit of money off of him or whatever. But in the long run, and when your kid grows up and when she's asking questions about her father, when she's asking about the real situation, when she grows up, reads, matures, and she hears about how she came into the world and how she was basically just a come up child or whatever, she's gonna have a lot of hard answers to have to sit down here and account for. Her having a millionaire deadbeat is no different than an average deadbeat. At the end of the day, in both scenarios, both of these women lose. Both sets of these children lose because they don't have both of their parents and whatnot present in their lives, and you still get played as a pawn. Next, I want to get into Amara La Negra. I used to watch Love and Hip Hop. I remember the first time I saw Amara and I was just like, oh my god, she is gorgeous. Like, she is so beautiful, right? And I used to watch Love and Hip Hop, and I used to definitely be on the, like, you know, ratchet TV type of time. But Amara's storyline, it always consisted of a man some drama of a man who did not love her, who is putting her through hell, who she is crying over, yada yada yada. She has these two twin beautiful little girls, and now she is sitting down here. She popped up on my timeline the other day, and she is crying over a married man. Mind you, imagine my surprise, somebody who don't watch the show, to find out that you had babies for a married man. But she's on the internet now crying her eyes out because this married man, you know, is having hesitations, and he has to now ask his wife if he could donate sperm so that she could, you know, have another kid or whatever, because she wants to only have him be the father of her child.
I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I want my kids to have the same father. I know that Alan is married, and that's fine, as long as we don't do it naturally and he just puts it in a cup.
What is going on? Like, why did you think that that was a suitable solution? How dare you not have any kind of thought process or whatever in terms of like what these two people had to figure out? Like, if she decided to stay in that situation, she wants to stay married to a man like that, which is on her. But if she decided to stay in that situation, how dare you just go into that situation, welcome yourself to it, and then say, I want to have more kids? What do you mean? What do you mean? I had to sit down here and rehab my entire relationship and figure out my whole situation, all because of you and all because of your actions or whatever. You have now impacted my life. I now have stepchildren or whatever because of you and your foolishness with my husband, and you think that you could just come back in here again and do the same thing all over? That we are not sister wives, ma'am. Like, the audacity of Amara is crazy. But also, like, why would you want to have why would you want to have a second, third, fourth kid or whatever with this type of quality of man?
Are you talking about having a conversation with your wife?
Yeah. I have to take care of business. I will never close the door on having more children with Amara.
And you think your wife would be okay with that?
Me and my wife, we could. But when she finds about this, it's gonna go crazy.
You are married, sir. Like, that is already just another low value man just trapping you. Of course you want to have more kids with you. Where is your value? Why are you sitting down here begging this particular man? You know, and she's just like, you know, I want to have consistency. That trap of wanting to have consistent, like, fathers of your kids and stuff like that. Listen, I just feel like if it's not working out the first time that you have your kid with somebody or whatever, I don't know, at least reserve yourself for somebody else to come into the picture and love you properly and have your next kids, you know, naturally in that situation. Why breed more children with toxicity or whatever? Yeah, they might have the same consistent father, but they'll have the same deadbeat father. Like, what is the incentive of having that? Rather, you could just have your two kids or whatever. Well, in her case, it'll just be the two kids. But, you know, you could have your kids. And then if you want to have more kids later or whatever, and you freeze your eggs, that's fine. But you find somebody who you actually are going to do life with and have another kid that way. I'm not understanding. Why would you want to have multiple kids with a deadbeat dad, or multiple kids in a situation where things are already not adding up or things are already not making sense? Why are we being so obtuse about these kind of concepts? And why would you want to create a family on this type of foundation? I will never understand that.
The only thing I requested was to put it in a cup because I only wanted you to be the only father of my children. But I know that when I asked you, you said you had to ask your wife. And I'm not trying to be a side bitch to no man.
You have
married. You're the one who's married. You've always been married. And I'm still here trying to make some work. You don't deserve me, and I'm here. I'm telling you, what do you need me to do? I've waited. Let me fix my situation. Till when? Till when you need me to wait for you?
I'm not leaving.
You don't even have the balls to tell me, yes, I want to be with you, or no. You leave me lingering, knowing that I love you. And you play with my emotions. Why do you do this to me? Just tell me no, so I can move on. I haven't been able to move on from you.
I'm not leaving.
I faked this so that I can move on with my life, and I haven't been able to.
I'm not fucking leaving!
Like, why are you acting this way? Why are you crying over a married man? Why are you in love with a married man? Why did you entertain a married man? If a married man comes to you and he's over here trying to spit game, whatever, the minute that you find out that the man is married, you need to be on your way. At the end of the day, if that man is married and he's willing to entertain you, even if he was to leave his wife and come over here with you or whatever, who's to say that that's not going to happen to you?
You say for me to wait till you solve your situation so that we can be a family. If you're never gonna be my family, just say that.
That's how you feel?
Yes!
I'm pretty sure that man is still going to continue doing what it is that he is doing or whatever, and it's just you are going to be the wife. Who cares if you're going to be the wife if you're going to be disrespected and cheated on all the time? Like I don't know, we're just missing the plot. This sense of entitlement that you are better than another woman and you are better than the man's wife, that you are better than whatever. Why is your self-esteem so low that you are going to entertain somebody who is married? And he's over here and he's just like, you know, I don't want to play with you. You're the mother of my kids. Of course, like I care about you and stuff like that or whatever. And she's just like, oh, but you always say no. I mean, you always say maybe. And if you say no, then I'll leave.
Just tell me no. Say no. And I promise I'll leave you alone, but you never say no. You always say maybe. And there's only so much I can wait.
Why do you need him to tell you that? Like, do you not have any autonomy on yourself to just say, like, you know what, I'm better than this? And she's over here talking about, you know, maybe you'll see the value in me.
I always have hope that maybe one day you'll see the value in me. One day you'll see that I'm a good woman.
If you have to cry for any man to find the value in you, understand that that man does not find the value in you, and you need to just pack up yourself and pick up your dignity and just leave. Like, there's no convincing somebody that you have value. Either they see it or they don't. Just because they don't see it doesn't mean that you don't have value. It just means that you're just at the wrong address. Every woman has been there. Every woman has been there. It sucks. It's a terrible feeling or whatever, but trust me, it feels better than you sitting down here just trying to constantly convince somebody that you are their person, and they know that you're not. Like, it's just even more painful for you. So it's like, you leave with your dignity, pick yourself up and go. But the way that she was over here crying and begging and pleading for this man to, you know, to make things work with her, to come home, and, you know, she's gonna continue raising her kids as a single mother. Like,
if we're never gonna be a household, then I'm gonna be a single mother, and I'm gonna continue having a broken home till I find somebody else that's willing to love my children and me.
You've been a single mother. You've been in this situation. You knew what it was when you signed up for it. I think, like, that level of obtusity, like, you knew what the situation was. You went and you fell in love with a married man. You had babies with a married man. You knew that you were going to sign up to pretty much be a single mother and to have a broken household. He is not going to leave his wife just because you feel bad or just because you want to be with him all of a sudden. Like, that, I don't understand. Like, 1 + 1, why is 1 + 1 not equaling 2? It's also a cautionary tale of making decisions based off of fleeting emotions, like fickle feelings. Like, you always need to bring logic into the equation. When you're making any of these type of decisions, any of these major life altering decisions, you always have to make them from the standpoint of, what is my life going to look like? Feelings change, situations change or whatever. Like, you have to somewhat have a little bit of foresight. Set yourself up for success always. You are not going to find happiness on somebody else's misery. You are not going to sit down here and have this fairy tale, you know, wonderful story with this man on the back of somebody else's pain. Why do you think that you're better than her? And also, why do you think that you're going to get the happy ending that she's being denied of? Lastly, I want to talk about Melyssa Ford. Melyssa Ford is a legend. Back in the day, like, remember when you used to know the video vixens and you just knew them like by name and everything else like that? She was my favorite back in the day. I would just be like, oh my god, M Ford is in here, whatever, it's about to be a good time, yada yada yada. But you know, we haven't seen her in a while, so now she's on the Joe Budden podcast and whatnot. Now, as she has been on this podcast, Melyssa Ford on the pod is a video all on its own. I'm going to try to keep it specifically with the Drake thing, but there's so much to say about her performance on the pod, just because I feel that she comes off as she is somebody who is better than, she comes off as somebody who is more superior, she comes off as somebody who is more intelligent than the common person and whatnot. And I'm a smart girly, I like big words as well, but it's just like, I don't like necessarily when people try to force it down your throat or try to convince you that somebody is smart. Allow your intelligence and your brilliance to just kind of come off naturally or let it flow in conversation. But I feel like she does things sometimes to just make it seem as if, you know, I'm better than everybody else and these people are not of the same ilk as me and I'm this and I'm that and whatnot. So when certain situations come up, and when certain situations come across and we expect you to have that same level of intelligence and whatnot and you don't display it, it's very jarring to a lot of people. So in the situation I'm talking about, I'm talking specifically about with Drake. Give Me a Hug was the single that was the first single that kind of gave Drake a little bit more traction and whatnot. And in that song, he goes, Melyssa Ford, you're a legend in the six. Hate to see you sitting down next to a dick sucker. Everybody knows Drake and Joe Budden have had beef for eons and decades and whatnot. And I don't like when Melyssa plays these like throw rocks, hide your hand situations, or just be obtuse about certain situations. Just like, I know nothing. I just didn't know. I didn't know this. I didn't know that. And I'm just like, okay, Melyssa, if we want to give you that, sure. You don't know that situation, right? However, in the context of the line, so like Joe plays the clip for her and whatnot, in the context of the line, and she's like, you know, I'm processing and da-da-da-da. There's not much to process, you know? Just because he doesn't necessarily name Joe by saying Joe necessarily or whatever, obviously it's pretty clear who he's speaking about. He has no issue with Flip or whatever. Flip has never been somebody who you have known to have an issue with Drake, so who else would it be about?
It's not Flip.
I sit in between two people.
How do you know?
It's not Flip.
You don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be.
Could be.
It could be. We just said it
it's
could
not
be.
Flip.
What I'm saying, like, if you don't want to use the fact that he didn't name him specifically, context clues will also give you the same exact conclusion that everybody else was able to make, ma'am. So she doesn't say anything or whatnot. She doesn't say anything. She just kind of embraces the moment and she thinks that this is a shout out, when honestly this was actually a very backhanded compliment. It's just like, first of all, if you even remove the dick sucker part of it all or whatever, if you want to remove that part of it, it's still the fact of you a legend in the six. Like, I hate to see you doing what you're doing right now. Like, you look, it basically still puts you in a position of you look sorry where you're at, or you look this or you look that. I didn't really take that as a big up, especially because of the context and also because you dissed somebody right after. So that was disappointing for her not to really register as somebody who I do see as an intelligent woman and whatnot. And then furthermore, she goes and she takes the line and whatnot, she loops it, she reels it and stuff like that, and she makes it seem like a big celebratory moment in music.
Melyssa Ford, you a legend from the six. Shit about to be a lit summer. Melyssa Ford, you a legend from the six. Melyssa Ford, you a legend from the six. Melyssa Ford, you a legend from the six. Melyssa Ford, you a legend from the six.
I remember watching the reel and I'm just like, listen, body T, she looks amazing and whatnot, but I'm just like, girl, this is not a celebratory song. I like what she did with it. I like her flip. I do like her flip. Her flip definitely made it a very positive moment, but the way in the context of how it was delivered, it really wasn't intended that way. So furthermore, now she goes and she gets, you know, her co-hosts are talking to her about it, and they're trying to make her see that this is actually not something that should be celebrated. This is actually not something that you should feel empowered by and whatnot, because he's using you to dig at us or to dig at Joe Budden and whatnot.
Mel, do you think he's trying to...
I don't know what he is trying to do. I am not in that man's mind. I do not know. I will let you guys opine on that.
Let me ask my guys. Do you think it's the art of war?
And she's just so wrapped up in herself. She's so wrapped up in, you know, who she is and whatnot, and feeling like this is something that she's entitled to. And
I mean, it's great. It's
there
awesome.
You go.
It's
there you
awesome.
go.
I mean, it's not the first time though.
Oh.
It's not even the second. It's not even the third. But thank you.
And I'm just like, you're missing the plot. You're missing the fact that somebody is definitely taking advantage of you, and you're missing the idea that somebody is actually making you like reducing you in a way and whatnot. Like I said, I love her flips, but I'm just like, he actually like insulted you, to be honest. They're trying to help her get to that. She wants to revel in it. Cool, no problem. Further on down the line, I think last week or so, he released these hoodies with vixens, and she was plastered on the back of his jacket of these hoodies and whatnot. And she's over here just like, you know, where's my check? Where's my this? Where's my that? I'm just like, pawns don't get checks. Like, this was not done with good intentions, so why would you get a check for certain things? Like, I don't know. And I'm just saddened. I think I was just more disappointed to see that she just allowed herself to be used that way in the middle of these of wars and whatnot. And she says that, you know, she has a history of other people like talking negatively about her, or other lyrics have been mentioned, or she's been mentioning other lyrics and whatnot, and they haven't been in the most favorable light, which is extremely unfortunate. And I'm sad that that has happened for her. Like, that's never a good feeling to have as a woman. Like, you don't want to be mentioned in people's stuff. You don't want to be over sexualized. You don't want to be marginalized. Like, you don't want your image to be tainted that type of way or whatever. So I get it. She's probably had to fight so many complexes or whatever to even get her confidence back. And I get that theoretically or whatnot. But again, that sense of hurt, or that sense of like entitlement in terms of like, this is what I should be getting. I should be getting my flowers. I should be getting my roses. I should be being praised and whatnot or whatever. And I'm going to celebrate this moment by having that ridiculous sense of entitlement or feeling like whatever. Like, don't let that cloud your judgment, and don't make that into something that's going to, at the end of the day, have you out here looking crazy or looking stupid or looking foolish. Don't let people play in your face. Don't let people use you in wars. Like, you know, either shut things down, tell people not to mention you. By her reacting the way that she did, I just feel like that opened the door for other opportunities to present him themselves, for him to then go ahead and still use her as a pawn. So I just wish that she was just a little bit more on her toes to realize in real time what was actually happening in that situation. In closing, ladies, please don't let anybody play in your face. Always be vigilant, be mindful. Your ego could be your biggest op if you allow it to be, okay? So just think about things before you are reacting to any of them. So that is all that I have for this video. If you like my vibe, do subscribe, leave me a like, share, comment, etc., etc., all those good things, and I will see you in the next video. Mwah!